Hey guys! I'm going to be showing you all of the Syngonium I currently have in my collection in my household. There's kind of a lot. I think Syngonium are the plant type that I have like the second most varieties of next to Hoya. So I'm really excited to show them to you. A Syngonium is actually the very first houseplant I ever got, and I will be showing you that plant today. It was a cutting from my grandmother's plant, and that is kind of what sparked this whole plant thing that we got going on. So they really hold a special place in my heart. If I could only keep one type of plant for, you know, the rest of my life, it would definitely be Syngonium. So I do have varieties ranging from very common to pretty uncommon and like fairly difficult to find. So of course prices typically reflect that. So as a little like ranking system, so you can know kind of where it stands on the like commonality, I'll be putting the name of the plant on the screen and then 1, 2, or 3 little signs so that you can know where it stands on the list. Please keep in mind that the common or uncommon rating I give each plant is based on the availability within the United States, which is where I'm from. At the time of editing this video, availability changes all the time, so it could very well change before this video goes up. And many of these Syngonium varieties are a lot easier to find or buy outside of the US for some reason. So yeah, please just keep that in mind. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so we'll start with, I don't know what to start with. I guess we'll start with this one. This is my Syngonium erythrophyllum. It's really, really beautiful. I love this one because it's really unique color-wise. I mean, you can see it on the screen. It's so beautiful, but the tops of the leaves grow like super, super forest dark green, like super dark green, almost black. And then the bottoms of the leaves are bright red, like a burgundy red color, which is seriously beautiful. And again, unlike any other plant I've really seen or I personally have in my collection. So I think it's a really, really cool one and definitely worth getting. I do find this one to be very, very easy to care for, although it is a bit more thirsty than most Syngonium varieties. So I do water this one probably 1.5 times as frequently as other ones. Does 1.5 times more frequently. If I water regular Syngonium weekly, I'll water this one every like 4 or 5 days. Well, like double. I'll water it like double actually. Syngonium erythrophyllum. And yeah, okay, onward. Next up is next one I'm honestly not too certain of the actual variety. So it was sold to me on a buy-sell trade group as a Syngonium renoir. R-E-N-O-I-R, but I don't actually think that's what this is. To me, it looks more like water's dripping out the bottom and I didn't even notice. I'm glad my phone wasn't there or my what's it called? Microphone. It does look more like a Syngonium like holly or something like that to me, but again, it was sold to me as a renoir. So if you're the one that sold this to me, I think you might have misidentified it. It's okay, I'm not mad. I just want to know what it really is, you know? But it is a really, really pretty one. I did struggle with this one for a long, long time. I will be quite honest with you. I don't know why. I think maybe because the leaves are so light colored. But I do actually have it in my grow tent now and it's done very, very well in there. So I chopped the plant completely back and this is what it's grown back into. So it is a really, really pretty one and the leaves are super minty lime green, which is very beautiful with kind of these markings along the outside. So yeah, again, I'm not totally sure on the ID. I'm sorry about that. I tried to figure it out, but it's just hard to know, you know? There's just so many. Anyway, yeah, there's that. Okay, next up is one of my absolute top favorite Syngonium varieties, and it is the Syngonium Strawberry. So this is actually a propagation I took off of my main mother plant that lives up in my bathroom. You've seen it in a lot of my videos because it is one of my favorite plants. I think it's so beautiful. I recently chopped it up for propagation, and this is one of those chops I did. As they mature, they get so large and billowy and pillowy looking, which I really, really love. It is a really, really beautiful one, although pretty difficult to find. I got super lucky with this one and I found it for a really good price. Typically that's not to be expected with this Syngonium Strawberry. So, but if you can find one of these, I do recommend. I will say I kind of had the same issue with this Syngonium as I did with like my Alocasia frydek, where a new leaf would come out and then the old one would die off, and it definitely wasn't a repotting issue. I just find this to be extremely thirsty and a very heavy feeder. So in order to stop that, I've started to give this one a more concentrated dosage of liquider every single time I'm watering, and it stopped killing off the oldest leaf. So Syngonium Strawberry. And again, it's just a little propagation. I forgot to grab this one, and I already had everything set up down here. So I just grabbed this one out of my grow tent. You know what? I'll just continue on the way that I'm going from right to left. All right, so this is my, ooh, there's a dead leaf. So this is my mature Syngonium Wendlandii, and there are a couple different, or maybe a few different varieties of these. I only have 2 in my collection, but this is the silver goosefoot variety, I want to say. Again, I could be wrong. It's just kind of hard to say because, you know, there are so many that look very similar to one another. So this is a very mature form. I do have, where is it? I do have another one. Oh, here's an immature. So maybe they are just the regular Wendlandii. I know for sure this is just the regular one. I think this one's the silver goosefoot, but correct me if you know. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry that I'm not that helpful. Sometimes it's just really hard to know the ID of the plant if you bought it from somebody that wasn't sure of the ID of the plant. So I'm not all knowing, although I wish I was. Immature form. And this is the mature form. So you can see it's kind of like lobed. It gets these 3 lobe type things, which is really, really cool. And I love this. I love it. The leaves are super velvety and beautiful. And then I just love the contrast in the middle of the leaf. As it matures, the silver line down the center of the leaf does actually kind of fade. So it's definitely not as pronounced, but still beautiful nonetheless. And I highly recommend it. But it is one that I find needs a little bit higher humidity. So if you're maybe not able to give them higher humidity, I don't think this Wendlandii is the way to go. Although that's just my opinion. It's one person's opinion on the internet. You can give it a shot and see how it goes and then form your own opinion. So yeah, Syngonium Wendlandii, both of these. They might be different varieties, but I don't know. I guess while we're on the Wendlandii topic, just go ahead and pop in this little treasure. This is one of the newer Syngonium to my collection, and it is also one of the more uncommon Syngonium varieties that I'm aware of. It is a variegated Syngonium Wendlandii. It's more commonly called a Syngonium scrambled eggs. And yeah, here it is. Really, really beautiful. Again, these are near impossible to find, period. And if you're able to find them, they are quite pricey. This is definitely not something I would ever splurge on just to sit it like in the open air in my house, especially where I live somewhere with such a dry climate. I feel this would melt back so fast. Do keep this in a terrarium and it loves the humidity. So this is the newest leaf. I hope you'll be able to see the variegation. It does kind of get more stark or contrasted as the leaf like hardens off. Of course, you'll be able to see the color differences once this leaf isn't as like fresh. Oh gosh, I don't even know what else to say about this one. It is really, really pretty, but a little bit more stressful just because how difficult they are to find, and then therefore they're difficult to find. So the price is a little bit higher, a lot of bit higher, I'll be totally honest with you, but it has brought me a lot of joy and I love it. I love it. Where I love Syngonium, I mean, you'll see I have a lot of different varieties. It doesn't scare me as much to splurge on them because I do know I'm confident in my ability to care for them. So yeah, maybe just don't start off with that one. Start off with some of the easier ones and then work your way to the more difficult, finicky ones, you know? That's honestly, that's kind of my general rule of thumb anyway. This is another one of my all-time favorites. It is a Syngonium lance leaf. Look at it, it just has really unique leaf shape. They're like very ribbony, but they also have the 2 lobes on the ends. I think it's really, really beautiful and it kind of gets a cool texture. Mine doesn't have that as much right now. As the leaves get more mature, I mean, you can see, okay, they start out just like teeny tiny like this, and then they turn into something like this, and they get a really cool texture on them. So you can kind of see the veining on them as they get bigger. Again, this is not as mature of a plant, so it doesn't really have any of that going on, but I think it's a really cool one. And I'm a sucker, like when I'm collecting plants or trying to find new plants that I'm really drawn to, I love finding like a unique leaf shape or like growth pattern, and this definitely has that. So I highly, highly recommend. It is actually very, very easy to care for. So look, it's got some roots coming out the bottom. Cute. I think it likes me. Here we have a Syngonium. It's called Three Kings or Jade, I think is what it's most often referred to, and they are actually the same plant. I love the variegation on these leaves. So you can see it kind of has the dark thing, the dark shape in the middle, the dark coloration in the middle towards the center of the vein, and then it gets kind of white mottled a little bit, and then back to that dark color along the outsides, and I think it's really, really beautiful. It's not as stark of a variegation as like, you know, an albo Syngonium that people are typically drawn to, but I do think it's a very, very beautiful one, and again, pretty easy to care for, grows very, very quickly. This was a propagation, and I put it in here maybe like a month ago. You can see the roots are already coming out of the bottom of the pot. So it is a very fast grower, especially as far as Syngonium go. And that's something I will say. Syngonium in general are like pretty fast growing if you have them in the right environment. Just keep that in mind. Jade Three Kings, there's another name it's known as. It's on the tip of my tongue, but my brain and my tongue aren't connecting right now, so we'll just say Jade and Three Kings. Next up, so this is a Syngonium Starlite, which I don't know why, like the regular albo Syngonium is so popular, but like something like this isn't as popular because this is so unique. Would you look at that leaf shape? Like it has kind of the long ribbony, did I say what this was called? Starlite. If I didn't say that, starlite. The leaves, again, are very unique shaped, and they have a lot of white variegation, which I know a lot of people are suckers for white variegation, like super contrasted variegation like this, and like on the albo Syngonium. Which is why I'm like very surprised that this isn't more like talked about or like sought after, I guess. I don't know. I think it's really, really pretty. I do think an issue with this one is people do confuse this plant, this Starlite Syngonium, with the Jade and Three Kings one I just showed you. Maybe that's kind of something going on. People see Starlite, but it's really like a Three Kings, and then they're like, oh, I don't really like the Starlite one or something. I don't know. But yeah, it is Starlite, and you can tell it's a Starlite because the leaves are like thinner and longer. Why don't more people want this plant? Have you heard of this plant before? Let me know if you've heard of this plant and if you liked it or if you didn't like it and why. Tell me your opinion. I'm really intrigued to know because I think it is one of my top favorites. This is it is a little bit sun bleached. I am trying to acclimate it to a new terrarium. So yeah, I mean, you can see how that's going. It is a little bit bleached, but this is a Syngonium rayi. So this is the regular, the more common form, the Goja form, and there's also a green form. So if any of you out there have the green form rayi, let me know. I would love to purchase or swap with you. Anyway, yeah, this is the Goja variety, and you can tell it is because it has the red gold tints to it and the green form doesn't. So yeah, that's how you can tell. There are actually 3 little tiny plant propagations in this pot, which I think are so cute. I'll love them. They are really cute. I will say, again, I'm kind of struggling with this one. I think it's pretty obvious. I've had this for a while and they just aren't doing that well. I'm trying it in a new environment and seeing how that goes, but for some reason, I'm just really struggling with this one. So I do think it's a little bit more difficult, although like, don't take what I'm saying as gospel because we all have different environments and care tendencies. So like where I'm struggling with this one, maybe the ways I struggle caring for plants is a way that you're really strong in caring for plants. So yeah, it is just my opinion, but I do find it to be a little more difficult, but I'm hoping this terrarium move will make it happy and it'll get huge like the rest of these have. Here's hoping. here's hoping. Syngonium red spot tricolor, which is again one of the newer ones, not the newest, but one of the newer ones. This right here is the newest leaf it put out, and I am obsessed with it because it has everything I could want in a red spot tricolor leaf. It has the pink, the white, and then some green and white speckling going on. So yeah, this one is really, really beautiful. Ooh, is pretty, is real pretty. And so far, this hasn't been that hard to care for. Obviously, it's a very small plant, and it had these two leaves when I bought it. It had this one on the way, but it wasn't quite opened up yet or ready to open up yet. It's finally opened, and now it's put out this one. So really haven't had it too long, maybe a few months, a couple of months. But it has been pretty fast growing for me. This is definitely another one I wouldn't just splurge on and let it sit in my house. This lives in my 6-foot terrarium, so yeah, it's really, really happy in there. Do definitely recommend a terrarium environment if you plan to get one of these, because they are very pricey, and it would be so unfortunate if something happened to it. I would definitely cry for a long time. So yeah, I am kind of babying it, but it's so, so beautiful. And I'm very, very happy to have it in my collection. Okay, this one is actually my pride and joy. I think I've talked about this plant, especially on Instagram. I've been kind of showing off with this plant because I am obsessed with it. And in my opinion, the one I have is the most beautiful one I've ever seen. So you guys actually saw me haul this in May for my birthday. I will insert the footage here of what the plant looked like then. But since I've been caring for it, it is now beginning of August. It has popped off, and the variegation is just something else. And while it was beautiful before, like, I really think something I've done care-wise has brought the variegation on this thing out like even more pronounced. So I'm super proud of it because this is one I was very worried about buying and it was going to turn muddy, because often you see these, like, they're kind of brown because where they have so many colors going on, like the reds, greens, pinks, yellows, kind of purples tend to mix together sometimes, and you end up with a like brown plant, which just isn't my like super favorite, but you know, to each their own. So I was kind of worried that was going to happen, but it definitely hasn't. This is the newest leaf right here. It's not muddy whatsoever. So I am very, very proud of this one, but that mudding up, that like color blending is definitely something that was in the back of my mind when I was splurging on this plant, because again, it is quite a bit more expensive than other varieties. Keep that in mind if you decide to go for it, that's something that can happen. Yeah, that's like really all I can say, but I do really love this. I think it's so beautiful. And I'll insert it on screen, but from May when I got this, it was beautiful then, but like I'm even more obsessed with it now. I'm proud of you and I'm proud of me. What's that one called? Strawberry Ice. Okay, next up, a little cutting I just got not that long ago, and it is a Syngonium panda. So I've mentioned, I think I'm out of the loop in like the plant world. This is one I've just recently heard of for the first time, which is kind of weird. I don't know, maybe I just don't pay attention. But yeah, this is a Syngonium panda. Never heard of it before like a few weeks ago. And just a couple of days ago, this actually came in the mail. Again, I don't know how like I'm in the plant world, but like so out of the loop on different varieties, or like really cute varieties that I love, but why am I not noticing them, huh? It's like known because it gets those kind of bigger white variegation bits, but then it also gets the little white spots all over the leaf. The amount of white on the leaves can kind of vary, but it is definitely most known by the white splotches all over. So Syngonium panda is a little cutie. This little beaut is a propagation I did of a Syngonium T25. I do have a few of these in my collection because I've propagated them. This also on the same boat as the Starlite and the Three Kings Syngonium do get mixed up quite often. They are different. This is an immature one. Kind of the way you can tell the difference is if you look at the bottom of the leaf, the white variegation shows through very starkly on the bottom. And also the leaves don't get long like how the Starlite ones did. So if your leaves are staying kind of stout looking like this, a little bit wide and short, then yeah, it's more likely a Syngonium T25. The pricing on these is kind of hard because they just aren't like available. People aren't really selling these, but I've seen them sell up to $700 even. So it is a very not easily attainable variety. So that's why I'm kind of confused by this one, because people do often mislabel this one as a starlite, but it's not always. So if you're able to like be certain with your identification of it, you can find them for really good prices. So I did find this. It was a little bit bigger than this. I've now chopped it up into smaller plants, but I got it for like $30 or something, which is a still of a deal. And don't get me wrong, this was like a year or so ago, over a year ago. So it was before, you know, the whole plant price increase thing that's going on. I feel very lucky. It was a good find for a good price. I am out of breath because I am now in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy. Like, this baby could come at any time. I'm out of breath, that's why. I'm okay though, just super pregnant. So this is my Syngonium chiapets, I think is what it's called. Needs repotted, you know me. Syngonium chiapets. Chiapets? Yeah. So this one has super like matte leaves. I really like this one because the leaves there's not a lot of color variation on the leaves, and they're like super matte and like soft looking. I'll insert close up so you can see a little bit better. This one's a little bit big to be able to put on screen. But it is a very, very pretty one. In my opinion, super easy to care for. So I do think it's a really great one to start off with. Now, I mean, would you look at that? I need to cut this back and repot it and propagate it and do all the things, but I just have a hard time cutting some. You guys know how like scissor happy I am, but there's just some that get growing and then they just do this cute thing that I have a hard time cutting. So should I like let it grow more? Or should I cut it and propagate it for my shop? That is the question. That is the question. Let me know what you think. I also have a larger one of this, but it's upstairs and I just had this one down here in my grow tent, so I decided to grab this. Anyway, this is a Syngonium confetti. It's just like, it looks like a white butterfly, but then it has these pink little freckles everywhere. This one's really fun and it is pretty common, so if you especially like pink variegation, I think this is an awesome one. Syngonium pink confetti, or confetti. Pff, pink confetti, it's just called confetti. What am I thinking? So we're on to a plant that is definitely a struggle plant for me. I do not know why. It is a Syngonium auritum. There's a bug on it. Where the freak did you come from? Where did it go? I don't know where it went, but there was a bug on it. Anyway, not like a pest, like a bug, like a big bug. Okay. This is my Syngonium auritum that I do not know why it is struggling so hard for me, and it has struggled since the day I got it. I got this thing 2 years ago almost, and I recently decided it was so long and like big, I decided to cut it up and like do propagations. Since this mother one has been struggling so hard, I thought I would do propagations to have as backup in case I accidentally kill this. You know, makes sense. That's what I do anyway, to make sure I'm not going to lose a plant that I may not be able to find again. I don't know why I'm struggling so hard with it, but I am. It's lived in my bathroom. It gets north-facing light, pretty good humidity, and it just it hasn't liked anything I've done for it. So again, I'm hoping the propagations will come in stronger than this one has been. I'm really, really hoping, but I'm not going to give up hope on this mother plant just yet, because when they're happy, they are very, very pretty. So I don't think this is necessarily known as a difficult variety, but for some reason for me, it is. And again, it's a Syngonium auritum. And next up, oh, this needs some water badly. This is actually one of my favorites, even though maybe it looks a little more basic compared to some of these. This is a Syngonium angustatum, and it gets the long leaves. Would you look at that? Dark green borders, kind of some dark green splotching in there, but then also some definite like white or light green in the middle. I don't know, I think it's really, really pretty, and I can't really say like why this is one of my favorite. Well, I can. I think it's really cute. I like the growth pattern, the leaf shape, the coloration, everything. It's very easy. And yeah, you know what's weird? This angustatum has been living literally right next door to the auritum I just showed you, and like you can see their contentment difference. This one's so happy, this one is not. It's just weird that I can have two similar looking ones next to each other, and one thrives, one doesn't. Like, how does that happen, you know? So it just goes to show it kind of depends on how well your plant does, sometimes depends on finding the perfect spot for that exact plant. So if your plant isn't doing well, don't give up. Maybe try putting it somewhere else. But yeah, Syngonium angustatum. Of course, I have to show my Syngonium albo, and this is the one I've shown many times in my channel the last few months that I chopped completely back like to the soil, and it has grown back better than ever. The variegated parts of the plant have pushed out like such beautiful variegation since I cut it back, and I'm so happy I decided to do that. It was kind of stressful for a while there, but yeah, I think the plant has done well enough that it was definitely worth it. I don't know, if you're struggling with a Syngonium, you can always try to cut it back and see what happens. Maybe you'll end up with like extra beautiful variegation, and that's kind of the issue I was having. As it was pushing out more and more leaves, the variegation was like becoming less and less pronounced, which is one of the reasons I decided to chop it. Did the job. It's putting out that beautiful, beautiful variegated growth now. So 10 out of 10 recommend. This is probably one of the more well-known Syngonium varieties. I mean, it is beautiful, but I think it is a little bit overrated. I have to be totally honest with you. It is a beautiful, beautiful plant, don't get me wrong. But I just think that there are a lot of other really beautiful Syngoniums out there as well that people just overlook. It's the white variegation on it, you know? I'm sure that's what it is. But I'm just a little bit salty because I love Syngonium, but people don't really love Syngonium except for the albo Syngonium. What the heck? These other babies need some love too. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned a Syngonium was one of my first plants, and it was a cutting from my grandma, and this is that plant. So, I mean, it has grown. There's a lot of stems in there. This was literally a one stem cutting when I got it, and it's popped off. I love how awkward it is. This plant is why I fell in love with Syngonium. I love the growth pattern. I love how kind of weird they are. They just kind of do whatever. I don't know, like, what is this doing? They reach and I really don't even know. I don't know how to explain my love for Syngonium, but like this shows everything. This really shows everything I love about a Syngonium plant. Oh, this one is a white butterfly. I didn't even say. Isn't it cute? I think it's so cute. All right, so next up is a Syngonium Pink Splash Allusion, which this is one of the most difficult Syngoniums I've ever had. I've had this for well over a year now, and it just keeps dying back and then coming back, and I don't know why. I have obviously a lot of varieties doing very, very well, but this pink, what is it? Pink Splash Allusion just does not like me. I think it's absolutely beautiful. You can see it kind of has, it's pretty similar to the confetti, except for the pink and the green are more contrasted from each other. So the pink on the confetti is a little bit lighter in color, and mine isn't even a good example of a pink splash because mine's not very splashy and it's not happy whatsoever. But if you are able to care for this one well and make it happy, then the pink on these is so, so cute. I just don't know why it does not like me at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be giving up on this anytime soon. So hopefully I figure her out. This one is a pink spot, I want to say, and oh, I guess maybe you'll be able to see it on this leaf pretty well. Like, so this one is pink, light pink colored leaves, kind of lime greeny, pinky leaves, and then it does have a little bit of darker pink, like freckling or spotting on them. So yeah, I think it's cute. I love it. I love it. I love freckling in plants. I think it's just adorable. And it's an easy one. So that's cool. Love that. Very happy about it. This was one of my first wish list plants, and it is a Syngonium Frosted Heart. You can see the leaves are very heart-shaped and frosty looking. It has a really cool leaf texture and shape. Of course, the shape of these is so chunky and heart-shaped and like really cute. But I also love the the coloration texture in there. So it kind of has like white wavy lines that are more pronounced on the veining of the leaf and then kind of fade out between the veins, but it's still there, which kind of gives it that frosted look, which is where its name comes from. But I think it's a really, really cool one. Really, really cute. I love this plant. I really love this one. Next up is my Syngonium batik, which look at how it's growing. Why is it doing this to me? What is going on? It's like, it's leaning toward the light probably. I have this one in my bathroom and I think it grows towards the light. Maybe I need to move it a little bit closer, but I mean, it's happy and the leaves are coming in very well colored. Oh, this is a Syngonium batik. I love the webbing, the webbed variegation look on these leaves. It's so vibrant and like the webbing is so stark, I guess. These leaves get really big and they're really, really pretty. And this is one I do find to be very, very easy. So yeah, 10 out of 10 recommend. And I need to repot it. I put it off forever and ever. Maybe, I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, Syngonium batik, and it is one of my favorites. Have I said that about every single one? No, I think I've only said it about a few, which is fine. That's reasonable, right? Okay, and last one is my, I believe this one is my pink allusion, or maybe it's known as strawberry cream. The pink varieties like this are really hard for me to straighten out like one from another because they are very similar to one another, I will be honest. But I think it's really pretty. The leaves come in very bright pink. And they also have some like gold in there, some regular looking ones. I think it is so, so cute. This was another one that I've had in my collection for years and years. And it's done really well, been very easy to care for. And if you love a pink plant, forget pink princess, philodendron, because those are really expensive. These are pretty affordable. The more you know. Pink something, strawberry cream. I'm gonna call it strawberry cream because I'm pretty sure that's what I bought it as, but it might just be the pink illusion. It might just be the regular pink illusion. I don't really know if there's a difference. There's so many Syngoniums out there. It's really cute, isn't it? Whew, okay, those are all of the Syngonium I have in my collection. Let me know what you thought of them down below. Were there any you don't like or any that you really do like that you maybe didn't know existed? I'm really interested to hear. Syngonium are awesome. Let me know if you're a Syngonium lover or like meh about them. I'm a lover. If you're in the United States and you have a cool Syngonium variety that you'd be willing to sell or swap a cutting to me of, leave a comment down below and I will be reading through those. If there's a variety that is mentioned that I've really been wanting, we'll get in touch. We can maybe work that out. Really appreciate it. So yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye!